5 foods seniors must never eat before bed. The last one could trigger a heart attack. It's strange how something as simple as what we eat before bed can quietly decide the kind of night we're about to have, or even whether we wake up the next morning. Most people don't think twice about that little evening snack, that extra bite after dinner, that late-night craving that whispers, "Go on, it's just a small thing." Especially for those of us over 65, the truth is much sharper. What seems harmless can turn dangerous the moment we close our eyes. I want you to picture this. Imagine an older gentleman, full of life, retired and finally enjoying the peaceful rhythm of his days. He has his evening routine, a little TV, a small snack, maybe a slice of pie or a salty handful of chips, then off to bed. One night, he doesn't wake up, no warning signs, no big dramatic moments. It was what he ate and how his body responded to it that silently pulled the trigger. This isn't meant to scare you, but to wake you up in the best way possible. Because the reality is, our bodies change after 65. Our digestion slows down, our arteries stiffen, our heart works harder while we sleep than it ever did when we were younger. The choices we make late at night have a far bigger impact than they ever had before. Yet most people keep eating the same way they did at 30, without realizing their body isn't playing by the same rules anymore. Tonight I'm bringing you the real, raw truth about 5 foods that seniors absolutely must avoid before bedtime. These aren't just foods that cause indigestion or a little discomfort. These are the hidden landmines that can spark heart attacks, strokes, and other silent killers during your most vulnerable hours, while you're resting completely unaware. You deserve better than that kind of risk. You deserve deep, healing sleep. You deserve to wake up feeling stronger, more energized, more alive with each new morning. And it all starts with understanding what your body needs and what it can no longer afford to handle. Stick with me, because by the time we're done, you're going to have a powerful, life-saving checklist that you can use tonight, tomorrow, and every night after. Your health, your heart, your future, they're all worth protecting. Let's get into it. Number 1, heavy red meats. There's something comforting about a hearty meal. A nice steak, a juicy burger, a few slices of roast beef. It's the kind of dinner that feels satisfying, like you're treating yourself after a long day. But when it comes to eating heavy red meats before bed, especially for those over 65, that comfort comes at a steep and dangerous price. Red meat is dense, heavy, and packed with saturated fats that take an enormous amount of work for your body to break down. When you eat it late at night, your digestive system doesn't just quietly hum along while you sleep. It kicks into overdrive, struggling to break down the protein and fat. Instead of resting, your body is forced into an exhausting battle, one that steals the deep, restorative sleep you need and puts enormous pressure on your heart. Think about it like this. At a time when your body is supposed to be winding down, your stomach is lighting up like a factory. Blood rushes to your gut instead of your brain and heart where it's needed. Your heart has to pump harder. Your blood pressure rises. Meanwhile, digestion releases inflammatory chemicals into your bloodstream, thickening your blood and stressing your arteries. It's a perfect storm, and one that can quietly lead to a heart attack in your sleep. I've heard too many stories of people who thought, "It's just a small portion, or I'll sleep it off." But your heart doesn't sleep off a heavy burden. It feels it. Hour by hour, beat by beat. It works overtime when it should be resting, and over time, that strain can push it beyond its limits. The signs aren't always obvious either. Maybe you notice you're tossing and turning more at night. Maybe you wake up feeling exhausted, even after a full 8 hours. Maybe you have those weird moments of shortness of breath, when you're just lying there, doing nothing. These are quiet warnings, whispers from your body that something isn't right. The good news is, the fix is simple once you know it. Swap out heavy red meats for lighter proteins in the evening. grilled fish like salmon or cod, a handful of walnuts, a small serving of cottage cheese. These foods give your body what it needs without dragging your heart into a nighttime war zone. They're easier to digest. They promote calm, steady energy, and they let your heart rest the way it desperately needs to. It's not about giving up the foods you love forever. It's about timing. Enjoy your steaks and burgers earlier in the day, when your metabolism is more active and your body is prepared to handle the load. Save the evenings for foods that heal, not foods that hurt. Remember, every small change you make stacks the odds in your favor. One smart choice tonight could be the reason you wake up tomorrow feeling stronger, safer, and more alive. Number 2, sugary desserts, cakes, cookies, ice cream. There's a certain kind of comfort in a sweet treat at the end of the day, a slice of cake after dinner, a scoop of ice cream while you wind down with a good book, a few cookies during your favorite evening show. It's like a little reward, a small celebration of another day well lived. But for seniors, especially after 65, those sugary moments can quietly turn into ticking time bombs once the lights go out. Sugar doesn't just taste good, it plays games with your blood. When you eat high-sugar foods at night, your blood sugar levels spike rapidly, giving you a burst of energy when your body is craving the opposite. That sugar spike forces your pancreas into high gear, releasing a flood of insulin to bring the levels back down. What follows is a sharp, sudden crash, a dangerous dip that can happen right in the middle of your deepest sleep stages. Here's where it gets even more serious. During that crash, your heart is forced to respond. Your blood vessels constrict. Your heart rate changes. Your body releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, the very chemicals your heart should be avoiding if it's trying to rest and repair. That hormonal surge can trigger heart palpitations, irregular rhythms, and in some cases even cardiac events. Imagine your body deep in sleep, supposed to be restoring itself, and instead it's trapped on a violent roller coaster it never asked to ride. The worst part, you might not even know it's happening. You'll just wake up feeling exhausted, anxious, or strangely weak without a clear reason why. Over time, that nightly sugar abuse damages your arteries, weakens your heart, and sets the stage for serious, even fatal, heart problems. And it's not just about big desserts either. Even a small scoop of ice cream or a few cookies can be enough to tip the balance, especially if your body is already more sensitive because of age-related changes like insulin resistance, slower metabolism, and reduced heart elasticity. But don't worry, this isn't about giving up every sweet pleasure forever. It's about making wiser swaps that satisfy the craving without sabotaging your heart. Instead of reaching for sugary desserts before bed, try a bowl of fresh berries, a piece of dark chocolate with low sugar content, or a small serving of Greek yogurt with a drizzle of honey. These choices give you a gentle sweetness without sending your blood sugar on a dangerous nighttime ride. Your nights should be a time of healing, not hidden stress. By choosing smarter, lighter sweets, or even skipping them altogether after dinner, you give your heart the peace it needs to beat strong, steady, and safe through the night. It's a small shift that could make a lifetime of difference. Number 3, salty snacks. Chips, pretzels, processed cheese. There's something almost irresistible about a salty snack in the evening. It starts innocent enough. A small handful of chips during a favorite show, a few pretzels to munch on while reading, maybe some cheese and crackers to wind down after a long day. It feels harmless, even comforting. But for seniors, especially after 65, that salt you're craving at night can quietly be pushing your heart toward a dangerous place. Here's the hidden truth about salt. It doesn't stay quietly tucked away in your food. Once you eat it, it floods into your bloodstream, changing the delicate balance of fluids inside your body. Salt pulls water into your blood vessels, increasing the total volume of blood your heart has to pump. More volume means more pressure. And more pressure means your heart is working harder, faster, at a time when it's supposed to be resting and repairing. You might not feel it right away. It's not like you eat a salty snack and instantly feel your blood pressure spike. No, it creeps in silently. First, you might notice you're a little thirstier at night. Then maybe you wake up feeling bloated or heavy. You might even experience nighttime bathroom trips that interrupt your sleep. Another way your heart is robbed of the full, deep rest it desperately needs. Over time, this constant pressure builds up. High nighttime blood pressure, also called nocturnal hypertension, is a serious risk factor for strokes, heart attacks, and sudden cardiac events during sleep. And if you already have conditions like high blood pressure or heart disease, salty nighttime snacks aren't just unhelpful, they're dangerous. What's especially tricky is that the salt is often hidden. It's not just in obvious foods like chips and pretzels. It's packed into processed cheeses, cured meats, frozen snacks, and even healthier options like flavored nuts or veggie chips. Many seniors think they're making better choices, but without realizing it, they're still flooding their system with sodium. The good news is, you don't have to give up the joy of snacking. You just have to shift how you do it. Instead of reaching for salty, processed foods at night, try air-popped popcorn with no added salt, raw, unsalted nuts like almonds or walnuts, fresh-cut veggies with a heart-healthy dip like hummus, or even a slice of avocado on whole-grain toast. These foods still satisfy the need to munch without sending your blood pressure into the danger zone. Your heart is depending on you to make choices that protect it, especially at night when it's most vulnerable. A handful of chips might feel like no big deal, but over time, every small choice adds up, and you have the power to stack those choices in your favor. Number 4. Caffeinated foods, chocolate, coffee-flavored desserts. Most people think of caffeine as just that morning jolt, a hot cup of coffee to wake you up and get the day rolling. But caffeine hides in places you might not expect. And for seniors, sneaky sources of caffeine, late in the evening, can quietly wreck the night in ways that go far beyond a little lost sleep. Chocolate is one of the biggest culprits. A few squares of dark chocolate after dinner, a slice of chocolate cake at a party, even some coffee-flavored ice cream or mocha desserts, they all seem innocent. They don't feel like a cup of coffee. They feel like a treat. But inside those treats lurk doses of caffeine strong enough to interfere with your body's natural rhythms, especially now that your metabolism is slower and your body processes caffeine differently than it did when you were younger. Caffeine is a stimulant. It keeps you alert by blocking adenosine, the chemical in your brain that makes you feel sleepy. When you consume it late in the day, you confuse your brain, and your heart pays the price. Your heart rate increases, your blood vessels tighten, your blood pressure goes up, your body releases adrenaline, the fight or flight hormone, at a time when you're supposed to be resting and repairing. You might not even realize it's happening. You may drift off into what feels like sleep, but deep inside, your heart is on high alert, your body stuck in a state of light, restless sleep instead of the deep, healing kind. Over time, this can exhaust your heart muscle, raise your risk of nighttime arrhythmias, and set the stage for heart attacks or strokes that strike without warning during sleep. I've heard so many people say chocolate doesn't affect me, or it's just a little, I've been eating it for years. But as we age, what our bodies once tolerated easily can become a hidden threat. The caffeine in just a small piece of chocolate can stay active in your system for 6, 8, even 10 hours, depending on your body's metabolism. That means what you eat at 8 p.m. could still be affecting your heart at 3 a.m. You don't have to give up flavor to protect your health. There are wonderful, satisfying alternatives that don't load your body with caffeine. Try fruit-based desserts, like baked apples with cinnamon, herbal teas like chamomile or rooibos, if you want something comforting, or yogurt with a sprinkle of cinnamon or a few almonds. These choices offer richness, comfort, and satisfaction without the hidden costs. Your heart deserves the chance to truly rest at night. Removing hidden sources of caffeine from your evenings is one of the most powerful gifts you can give yourself. It's a small change, but it can mean the difference between a heart that's struggling through the night and a heart that's truly healing, repairing, and preparing you for a stronger tomorrow. Number 5. Fried foods, especially late-night takeout. There's a certain kind of comfort that fried foods bring. Crispy fries after a long day, a late-night run for fried chicken, even just reheating some leftovers in the air fryer. It's satisfying, almost like a treat that tells you deserve this. But for seniors, especially after 65, late-night fried foods are not just a guilty pleasure, they're a real and immediate danger to your heart while you sleep. Fried foods are loaded with unhealthy fats, especially trans fats and heavily oxidized oils that put an enormous strain on your arteries after you eat them. These fats circulate through your bloodstream, thickening your blood, stiffening your arteries, and making your heart work harder to push blood through the body. And that extra strain doesn't just happen during digestion. It carries over into your sleep, when your body should be resting and your heart should be getting a break. Instead, your heart ends up trapped in a marathon, struggling under the weight of heavy, greasy blood. Your blood pressure spikes. Inflammatory markers rise. Your blood vessels, already less elastic with age, have to cope with a sudden, unnatural burden. And it all happens silently, invisibly, without you feeling a thing, until it's too late. It's heartbreaking how often these late-night choices lead to tragedy. I remember hearing about a man in his 70s who treated himself to fried chicken and fries late one evening, after a day of working in his garden. It was a simple pleasure, something he'd done 1,000 times. That night, while he slept, his heart gave out. Doctors later said the strain of digestion, combined with the condition of his arteries, created the perfect storm. One meal, one evening. That's all it took. The danger with fried foods isn't just their heaviness, it's the timing. Your body's ability to process fats decreases at night. Your metabolism slows down. Your body's focus shifts toward healing and repair, not digestion and defense. Throw a pile of fried, greasy foods into that delicate process, and you're setting up your system for failure when it's least equipped to handle it. But here's the beautiful part. The solution isn't about deprivation. It's about upgrading your choices. If you're craving something crispy, try oven-baked vegetables, like sweet potato fries, air-fried chicken without heavy oils, or roasted chickpeas seasoned with heart-healthy spices. These foods satisfy the crunch and comfort you want, without flooding your bloodstream with dangerous fats. Every night is a chance to protect the heart that's worked so hard for you all these years. It's a chance to trade silent risk for powerful healing. Skipping fried foods before bed isn't just a health move. It's a deep act of self-care, a way of telling your heart, I've got your back. Conclusion: protect your heart, protect your future. It's easy to think that small choices don't matter, that a little snack here, a sweet treat there, a late-night craving answered once in a while couldn't possibly make that much of a difference. But the truth is, every choice we make, especially when it comes to what we eat before bed, leaves a mark. It either builds us up or slowly, quietly wears us down. Tonight, you know more than most people do. You know the silent dangers that come with heavy red meats, sugary desserts, salty snacks, hidden caffeine, and fried foods late at night. You know how these foods can turn your most vulnerable hours into a battleground for your heart, even while you sleep. And most importantly, you know that you have the power to change it. This isn't about fear. It's about strength. It's about realizing that with just a little more awareness, a few simple swaps, you can turn your nights into powerful healing hours. You can give your heart, the incredible engine that's carried you through every high and low, the rest it deserves. You can wake up not just alive, but alive and well, ready to live another day with energy, clarity, and hope. Think of every smart choice you make as a thank you note to your body. Every time you pass on that late-night slice of pizza, every time you trade those cookies for a handful of berries, every time you choose to nourish instead of burden yourself, you're giving your future self a priceless gift. More time, more memories, more life. You've come too far to let a few hidden dangers steal what you've built. Your health is still in your hands, even now, especially now. And you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be aware, consistent, and kind to yourself. Share what you've learned today with the people you care about. Talk to your friends, your family, your neighbors. You might just save a life without even knowing it. Because wisdom isn't just about knowing the right path. It's about walking it and lighting the way for others too. Your heart is ready for better nights and brighter mornings, and now so are you.